Hello and welcome to Arlineology. Today we'll be working on Amora Valentine, the 64th great-granddaughter of Cupid. So we're starting out today with a pattern from Dollightful for her asymmetrical dress. Her patterns are super easy to follow, love them. And a Draculaura body that looks rather flesh-colored instead of pink. These are some accessories that have come with different doll collections that I've gathered. I have some Ever After High shoes. I believe it's for the Queen of Hearts. I don't remember the character's name. A bow that I believe is from Merida, but I'm not sure again. And I'm working today again with yarn wefts left over from the previous project, so reduce, reuse, recycle, everyone. These wefts were made a little thick and with a very stiff glue, so I'm having a little difficulty getting it to bend around the doll's head and then stick in the glue. But you'll be happy to know it all turns out great. So here I'm just fitting the pieces and trimming off any excess. I'm going for kind of a windswept or swept back kind of style to it. No bangs, no real decoration. I am going to curl it just for some wave. And I went with white so that it matches the color scheme of the red, pink, white, and gold. I didn't want to add any more color to that, and I didn't think that gold hair would be good. Pink was too close to the skin color, and red was just too stark. And I'm working with a different workspace and a different camera this time, so a lot of my video unfortunately was made outside of the lines here, even though I had a taped grid on my background. But as it turns out with customizing dolls, you always have a lot of footage, so that's a good thing. I did burn my fingers quite a few times on the hot glue. Because of the thickness of the wefts, I had to have the temperature all the way up on the glue gun, and definitely want to warn everyone to please be careful. Didn't hurt myself, but I did surprise myself a few times. This hair going on looks like a hot mess, but I was just fitting pieces that I had into the spaces that were open. And here's kind of part of that swept back style. I thought I would try an experiment using press and seal for masking off the hair, and it actually works pretty well. I would start out a little differently with how I put it on there. I did end up getting a little bit of pastel in the hair, but it still worked like a dream and kept everything out of the way. And as you can see, I started blushing the body. Again, almost off camera, so I apologize for any users that aren't getting the full video there. And I'm working with a different pastel collection. It is Jane Davenport, which is a card making, art journaling, and scrapbooking name that's very popular. And this is a skin tone palette. I think it's called Birthday Suit, and the pastels are just creamy and wonderful to apply. I always make sure to highlight the fingers, the toes, the ankles, and any of those kind of features that need to have a little depth to them. It just makes a little bit of difference and really finishes the doll. The pins in her hair wrap look kind of like an antenna right now, and I'm not making a love bug. So again, just blushing the face, bringing out some of those contours, not really applying color, just shape. There's always a little shadow around the hairline that the sun doesn't quite hit. A little bit in those dimples. And in any other natural recesses on the face. The neck should always have a little bit of tone in there also for shadow and contour, and there is the collarbone, breast area, the navel. I even do the small of the back, under the arms, in the creases of the elbows, the knees. Just enough to make it just that little bit more realistic. You can see how those pastels just go on so easily, and just a little bit makes it very dramatic and contouring. So we're down to our second coat now of Mr. Super Clear, and just emphasizing the eye sockets and shapes of the face, applying that little bit of extra pink since she is such a pretty pink doll. And now taking a pink pencil, I'm just outlining the shapes of where I want the eyes and the waterline, and using a General's chalk pencil, coloring in the whites of the eyes. The video looks a little stilted here. I just have a little bit of a shaking issue going on. I'm going back and forth for the whiteness of the pencils. I have a white watercolor pencil. I believe that one's Prismacolor, and the General's chalk pencil. The two of them work well together to bring out the white. And again, almost off camera, but I pushed it because you could still see some of the work. Just adding a little bit of red to the lip color, just to get a base for some color. To be a combination of a red watercolor pencil and a couple of shades of pink, just for a very unique shade of lipstick that still goes in with all the pink and red. This first coat is just to get the basic shape of the lips defined. And after another layer of Mr. Super Clear, we're back to adding more whites. Almost off camera, but now I'm starting in the black highlighting for the eyeliner. I do need to invest in the Derwent watercolor pencils because while the Michaels brand does work, the color payoff just really isn't there when it comes to the main colors, the brown and the black. And it's on my list. So getting my second layer on the lips there, defining the crease. And I had a heck of a time lining up the eyebrows on this girl, so you only see one going on because I erased so many times I almost started the whole face up over again. It was very frustrating. But I always start with a lighter shade of brown and then gradually increase the colors from there. Now while she dries on the next coat of Mr. Super Clear, I've decided to come in and start painting some of the accessories. So I've chosen a metallic gold for the bow. And the arrow will be tipped with a red Stickles glitter paste, which is glue that has the glitter right into it, so there's no mess with applying it, and it stays on. So I'm going through with a base coat of the gold color, and then on top I dry brushed a layer of brown just to accent the details that were on the bow. I didn't go into a lot of extra detailing on this just because I wanted the gold to be the primary focus. Now this bow does have the set-in arrow, so you can't lose the arrow from it unless you break it off and pull it through. But I did choose to hold it down with a rubber band to the string, just so that there wouldn't be any sideways leaning of the arrow when the doll is holding it. I had fun painting all these accessories, and you will see that not all of them end up getting used. But it's still fun to work on and just play. I'm not worrying on this bow about getting every single bit of it covered with the metallic paint. It had a nice creamy almost gold color underneath. I just wanted the metallic look to add on top. I wanted the bow to look more aged, so I didn't worry about every single detail being bright gold. I know a lot of artists take the paint and they pour it out onto their work surface or onto a palette. I find when doing these small things, it's just as easy to take the paint directly from the cap, and then there's no waste and no extra cleanup. Now on the shoes, I've decided that the gold that was on there was a little bit brassy, so I wanted to go back to more of a actual gold, and I also like the idea of the more metallic look to it. As I finish painting the emblems on the front of it here, I also take some of the gold with a dry brush and just accent all of the decoration on the shoe. Still keeping it red, but highlighting those accents just with a touch of gold. Gives it a really nice sheen. And then after the shoe is dried, there is a heart on the back of the heel and the hearts on the cards on the front of the shoe that I accented also with the Stickles paste so that they have a red glitter for the heart shapes. And I thought about the pink necklace there, making that into a crown. But then I realized that she's the great-granddaughter of a god, not a king. So I ended up not using the pink piece at all. Now here's where I go into curling the wefts attached to the doll's head. And I used a chopstick that I had, I thought would work because it was a very hard acrylic chopstick that could handle heat, but it ended up being too square, so I had to go back in and I found a drink straw, an aluminum drink straw in my drawer, and that worked out very well. This is my first time doing the hair curling as well, so this was all experimental. I knew I wanted a loose curl, not tight, so I had some idea of what to do here, but had never done it before. It did give me great ideas for curling my own hair, though. Now I know how to get those little tight curls. Not that I would normally take time to do that with my hair because I like it very natural. But just in case. I also applied the false eyelashes to her. I used small pieces because with the shaking that my hands were doing, I just couldn't get them to stay where I wanted them. So I used the smaller pieces and glued those down individually, so it wasn't quite as much frustration. And I don't know if you can really see it in the video, but as I'm putting the iron on the straw, I'm making sure to turn the straw to continue to turn the hair, so it looks like I'm not moving, but the straw is actually turning so that I get the full heat on the whole curl. And pretty soon we'll be ready for the reveal. I think I had to cut the video of applying the glue to the wings, or the feathers to the wings. So just showing what the pattern is again. There may be a brief video of the wings, but I did glue feathers to a foam piece, and this is the result. I think that the dress from Dollightful is absolutely incredible. And went with a simple gold band for a necklace, which happens to also be the support for the wings. And there she is, Amora, 64th great-granddaughter of Cupid. Thank you, and again, happy Valentine's Day. Please like, share, and subscribe.